Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ongoing saga of Government Knows Best. Today's episode, New York and California, a love story of bureaucratic incompetence. Buckle up, because this is a story of what happens when politicians who've never run a lemonade stand try to run an entire state. Spoiler alert, it's a dumpster fire. But somehow, they always have the audacity to tell us it's progress. My name is Sirius, and this is Unfluenced. Let's get right into it. All right, let's start with New York's latest attempt to fix the internet for low-income families. Instead of letting the free market do its thing, they've decided to play Robin Hood. Except, instead of robbing the rich, they're basically telling AT&T, hey, give us cheap internet, or else. New York just created a new law where they demand companies provide internet service at a very low cost to low-income families. And guess what AT&T did? Well, they said, screw this. They packed up their shiny 5G home internet and they left New York like it was a bad Tinder date. Because, shocker, it turns out that when the government forces companies to offer services at uneconomical rates, they just stop offering those services. Oh, come on, who could have seen that coming? Oh, right, anyone with 2 working brain cells. So let's break this down like we're in kindergarten. Here's how it works. AT&T was supposed to offer 5G broadband for $15 or $20 a month. That's less than what most of us spend on coffee every week, especially in New York City. Now, meanwhile, 5G infrastructure costs billions to build and maintain. So do the math. Actually, stop. Don't do the math. The math doesn't work. AT&T saw the writing on the wall and they said, you know what, New York? You can keep your stupid broadband law. We're out of here. And who loses in this scenario? Yeah, of course, everyone. Everyone loses in New York, who now has one less internet option. So great job. I mean, good job, guys. Clap it up for yourselves. You've created an internet monopoly. Meanwhile, California says, hold my avocado toast. Not to be outdone by New York's idiocy, California looked at this mess and said, psst, amateurs, let me show you how to really screw things up. Now, insurance companies like State Farm and Allstate are pulling out faster than a DEI hire in Trump's White House. Why? Because California has demanded that insurers have to cover wildfire-prone areas at rates, and they aren't allowed to adjust for risk. Translation: you are forced to sell a $1,000 policy for a house that's a matchstick away from going up in flames. Oh, and if you don't, the government will make you. Yeah, brilliant, right? Because nothing says trust us like forcing companies to lose money on purpose. So let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about internet or insurance. This is about a pattern. Every time the government sticks its nose where it doesn't belong, they manage to make things worse. Every single time. Affordable housing programs, rents are higher than ever. Student loan forgiveness, tuition is skyrocketing. Homeless programs, there's more people on the streets than ever. It's like their one superpower is turning good intentions into complete disasters. Speaking of disasters, let's talk about New York's genius congestion traffic pricing plan. They decided to charge people extra to drive into Manhattan during peak hours. The idea was to reduce traffic, reduce smog, and raise money. What actually happened? Hey, no one wants to drive into Manhattan anymore. It's too expensive. Which means businesses downtown are bleeding money faster than a broken ATM. But hey, at least the government gets to pat itself on the back for reducing congestion. Sure, it's because there's no one left to drive there. No one is coming to spend any money. But, I mean, come on, those are just details, right? Here's the thing. The government operates on this magical fairy tale logic where intentions matter more than results. They pass laws that sound good in headlines, but fall apart in real life. Want to make housing affordable? Just build a bunch of overpriced, affordable units that cost $600,000 per room. You want to help the homeless? Just create luxury apartments with dog runs and free meals, so working class people can watch their tax dollars give someone else a lifestyle they'll never be able to afford. Okay, I'm referencing yesterday's video. Check the link above. And when it all goes sideways, they just blame the greedy corporations. You gotta be kidding me. Now, there's a name for this. It's an old trick. It's called price controls, the starvation games of economics. Ah, yes, price controls. It's the government's go-to strategy for proving they don't understand basic economics. And guess what? That's exactly what New York's broadband law is. It's the government telling a company, you can only charge this much for your product. And if you can't make it work, how tough. Let's get real for a second. Price controls never work. Ever. History is littered with examples of this colossal failure, and yet politicians keep trotting it out like it's some groundbreaking idea. It's like they think they discovered fire, but really they're just setting the whole system ablaze. Remember the Soviet Union? They had price controls on food. It was such a smashing success that millions of people starved to death. You know, because when farmers can't sell wheat for what it costs to grow, they stop farming. Who could have predicted that? Oh, right. Everyone, literally everyone with a shred of common sense could have predicted that.
You know, it's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing.
Or Venezuela. Now, they slapped price controls on basic goods. And now you need a black market connection just to buy toilet paper, because nothing screams prosperity like a 12-hour line for bread. Now, New York wants to try their hand at this brilliant strategy, but instead of food or medicine, it's internet, because apparently the politicians in Albany think they can just mandate cheap 5G broadband into existence like they're Harry Potter. But here's the thing. The laws of economics do not bend to political will. When the government forces companies to sell an item below cost, those companies either jack up prices elsewhere or, like AT&T is doing, they take their ball and go home. And honestly, can you blame them? Why would they stick around just to lose money? This isn't charity, it's a business. And here's the pièce de résistance. Price controls don't just hurt the companies, they hurt everyone. When AT&T leaves New York, that doesn't just impact people who would have gotten cheap internet. It impacts everyone who loses a competitive option in the market. Fewer choices mean higher prices for all of us. So congrats, New York. You've successfully managed to screw over everyone. So let's call it what it is. New York is playing the same game that every failed regime in history has played. They're telling people, don't worry, we got your back, while setting the stage for a total disaster. When you artificially control prices, you don't get more of what you're trying to make affordable. You get less. Less internet, less food, less housing. It's like the Hunger Games, but instead of tributes fighting for survival, we're all fighting over the scraps left behind by government stupidity. So yeah, price controls, they might look good on paper. They might even make for a nice headline. But in the real world, they're a fast track to economic collapse. Just ask anyone who survived the actual starvation games in the Soviet Union, North Korea, or Venezuela, etc., etc. They'll tell you exactly how this ends. Now, there is a sarcastic silver lining. At least we can all sit back and enjoy this spectacle, right? It's like watching New York and California compete for the worst state to live in. It's like watching a slow-motion car crash. I mean, it's horrifying, but you can't look away. So what's the lesson here? Maybe it's that the government should stick to the basics. Potholes, passports, and staying the hell out of the way. We all know what's going to happen. So buckle up, folks. This clown car isn't stopping anytime soon. So if you enjoyed this little rant, don't forget to like and sub and do the things. Let me know in some comments what you think about New York's broadband law or California's insurance circus. All right, until next time, stay salty, stay skeptical. I got more videos coming later. I'll see you soon.